Alright, so this is, I like doing this with people in the room. It makes me feel a little less awkward, even though y'all won't answer me. At least I'm not talking to myself in here. Special right triangles. Alright, y'all are going to hate this at first. Some of you will learn to love it. Some of you never will embrace it. But I will tell you, if you will learn special right triangles, it will make your life a whole lot easier when you get to pre-cal and trig. Because it is directly related to the trig ratios when you get into pre-cal. So we have two types. There's a 45, 90-degree triangle. And obviously those are degree measurements, right? Okay. Another name for this triangle is an isosceles right triangle, which we've actually already learned how to do in the Pythagorean theorem section. You could just do an x and an x and do Pythagorean theorem. But there are some shortcut formulas that you're going to learn today. Okay. A lot of your formula charts will give you this diagram, or sometimes they'll just list x, square root 2x, and that's telling you the two legs and the hypotenuse. So basically what you're going to do in these pictures is you're going to be given one of the sides of the triangle. It doesn't matter which one. I could give you a leg and ask for the other two sides, or I could give you the hypotenuse and ask for the two legs. If I give you a leg and I ask for the other leg, obviously, hopefully you figured out by now it's just going to be the same number. But if I'm asking for the hypotenuse to go from x to square root of 2x, you would just multiply by the square root of 2. Alright? If you were going the other direction, so again, you had that leg and you were looking for this leg, again it would stay the same. Or if you had the hypotenuse and was looking for the leg, then you would divide by square root of 2, because you're trying to get rid of the square root of 2 and get back to x. Okay, so again, your steps are either multiply or divide by square root 2. That's it. Don't make this harder than it is. A lot of people are going to try to make it more complicated than it really is. Alright. So if I give you that picture and ask for x, obviously if this is x, then this is x as well. And yes, you could do Pythagorean theorem to get this answer, but this formula is easier than Pythagorean theorem. If you have an 8, 8 is your hypotenuse because it's across from your 90-degree angle, right? That makes this the hypotenuse. And you're trying to go to the leg. If you're going from the hypotenuse to the leg, you're getting smaller, so you would divide by square root 2. So you would have 8 divided by square root 2, and you could put that on the calculator and get your decimal answer. So 8 divided by the square root of 2 gives you 5.66, and I might teach my PreAP kids something in class on how to get the square root out of the denominator. I haven't decided yet. I might just let your Algebra 2 teachers teach you that. But that's it. If you're going from the hypotenuse to the leg, you're getting smaller, so you divide. What if it's the opposite type of problem? In this case, the x is our hypotenuse, so that means we have a leg. If we're going from a leg to hypotenuse, we are getting bigger, so that means we are going to multiply by square root of 2. So you get 3 times square root of 2. And most people would leave that answer just like it is, but if you want to turn it into a decimal, you can. Get 4.24. So as you can see, you're either dividing by square root of 2 or multiplying by square root of 2. It's that easy. No need for Pythagorean theorem, no need for taking square roots of stuff. You just either multiply or divide. Alright, our second type of triangle is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay. Let me redraw the picture over here. Alright, the diagram you'll see in some of your formula charts will look like this. Okay. The x will always start across from the 30-degree angle. X is considered your shortest side. Okay. Let's see, A, B, C. AB is your short side because it's across from the 30, right? So it's opposite the 30-degree angle. CB, you call it the long leg or the long side because it is opposite the 60-degree angle. And AC is called your hypotenuse because it's opposite the 90-degree angle. Alright, same concept here. Just follow the triangle around. If you have this and you're trying to get to your hypotenuse, then you would just multiply by 2. If you're going the other direction and you're getting smaller, then you would divide by 2. To get from x to 2x, you multiply. To get from 2x to x, you divide. Same thing here. If you're going this way, you're going to multiply by the square root of 3 because you're getting bigger. If you're going the other direction, you're going to divide by the square root of 3 because you're getting smaller. Most of the trouble students have with this particular triangle is they don't look at the orientation of the triangle. Your 30-degree angle may not always be on top. So make sure you're being very careful in identifying which one's your long leg, which one's your short leg, and which one's your hypotenuse. But as long as you identify them carefully, you shouldn't have that big an issue. We'll do 4 examples of this one. So here's a perfect example of the 30-degree angle not being on top. Okay? I have x and a 5. First you need to identify them. What parts are they? Is it the short side, is it the long side, or is it the hypotenuse? Now if you look at the x, it is across from the 60-degree angle. That makes it the long side. And if you look at the 5, it's across from the 30-degree angle, so that makes it the short side. If you go back and flip at the diagram, okay, I'll just redraw the diagram right here. If you look at the diagram, if I have the short leg, that's this one, and I need the long leg, then this diagram tells me all I have to do is multiply by the square root of 3. And that's it. It's a shortcut method. There's not a whole lot of work to be done. All you have to do is identify your parts, and the diagram tells you what to multiply or divide by. Here's another one. Okay, again, identify what parts you have. X is my hypotenuse. 4 is across from the 30-degree angle. That makes it the short side. So I have my short side, and I'm trying to get my hypotenuse. Go up to the diagram. If I have my short side and I'm trying to get my hypotenuse, I would multiply it by 2. Again, that's all there is to it. It's just a shortcut method. The hard part is making sure you know which sides you have. Okay, identify them. You got x and 7. X is across from the 30. That makes it the short side. And 7 is across from the 60. That makes it the long side. So I have my long, and I'm trying to get to my short. Let's go up to my diagram. If I have my long side and I'm trying to get to my short side, then I would divide by square root of 3. So I have 7 divided by square root of 3, and that equals 4.04. And last example. You really will need your notes to do this homework. Have them out and ready. until you have these formulas memorized, you're going to need to look at the examples and to look at the formula. All right, identify your parts. X is across from the 60. That makes it the long side. And 6 is across from your 90-degree angle. So that makes it the hypotenuse. Now this one's a little bit tricky. We have the hypotenuse and we're trying to get to the long side. Now if you look on the previous page, I didn't draw any arrows above my triangle because you can't go from hypotenuse to long side. You have to go through the short side. So we're going to start our arrow here and we're going to go to the short side and then to the long side. To get from the hypotenuse to the short side, we're getting smaller, so we divide by 2. So I take my number and divide by 2. Okay. And then, did y'all see that? Took my number, divide by 2. That gave me the short side, but I still have to get to the long side. So if you look at the diagram, I'm multiplying by square root of 3. So now I'm going to take my number and multiply by square root of 3. So on this one it took 2 steps because we had to go through the short side to get to the long side.